Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Sunday the 23rd of March 2025. No video yesterday, literally because there wasn't any news. Obviously all of our international players played on Friday, the under-21s played on Friday. There's not really much going on. Even today there isn't much going on, but we do have something to talk about. And we're going to start with this. Just a reminder. Obviously, it is the international break. It is a bit boring. If you wanted your fix of Millwall, there is a Millwall team currently second in their league. They're trying to get to the end of season tournament and win the whole thing. And they play on Tuesday. It's Millwall under-21s. They're away at Colchester United under-21s. Tuesday the 25th of March, this Tuesday, 1pm kickoff. It's currently set to be at the Wallace Binder Stadium, which is Malden and Tiptree FC's ground. It's in Malden, Essex. It's on the southeast edges of Malden. So, yeah, I highly recommend you going there and getting involved in watching the under-21s. Very decent level, good football, and cheer the lads on to the end of the season, and then afterwards could be having games in May. In terms of end of season semi-finals and whatnot, hopefully a final as well. So there you go. Now. We don't have any news, but we do have something to talk about, and it may be slightly early, but we only got 8 games left in the season, which is not a lot. It's not a lot at all. It may be a little bit too early, probably maybe 4 games early, but we have this break in the calendar, in that there's an international break. So we're going to be talking about player of the season contenders, and this is from Whoscored.com, and this is the Millwall page on there, and it's the rating of the Millwall players. It's the statistics for the Millwall players, and as you can see, still to this day, the highest rated Millwall player this season is Romain Esse, 7.06. Well, I don't know about you, but I can't be giving player of the season to a Crystal Palace player. No offence, that's not going to happen. So obviously we have to look elsewhere. If we look at this table as it stands, you can see Jake Cooper is in second place with 7.03. Ryan Leonard with 7.02. Interesting, he hasn't played for quite a while. Got injured, obviously. He's back now. He played for the under-21s on Friday. So, obviously don't want to rush him back, but may see him play again, before the end of the season. We've got Joe Bryan next. Yes, Joe Bryan with 6.95. Playing a lot as well, which is interesting, given he had surgery in the summer. And down here in number 5th, although 4th of the Millwall players that we still at Millwall, 6.94 Jafet Tanganga. And then Crammer with 6.92. So interesting that all of these players are defenders. They are all defenders. And if we go to the table, here we are in 11th. But if you click on obviously the magic of digital things is that you can manipulate them with clicks of buttons. If you click on goals against, you can see we have the 6th best defence in the league. The 6th best defence in the league, and that's why all of our players, highly rated players, are defenders. That is interesting. But if you click on goals scored, we're down here. We're down in the relegation zone. So that's not too good. We've literally been carried by our defence to the position where we are, which is just in the top half of the table. Well, just in the top half of the table. Also interesting to note, although we do have a good defence, where's the goalkeeper? He is Way down here in 23rd, 6.37. So that's interesting. Obviously, a lot of the fans are looking at Jensen, not too enamoured with what they see, to some extent. Not that he's had any howlers, but they saw Roberts for a game or two, and they were very impressed with him. Even more so when he kicked the Crystal Palace player in the face. So let's get back on. So in terms of highest rated players, it's Jake Cooper. Do we give it to Jake Cooper? I don't know. Maybe. In terms of who's played the most, Mr. Ever Present, it's actually the goalkeeper with 3,330 minutes, which is interesting again why his rating is so low, 6.37. Although he did get 2 man of the matches. After that, it's Japhet Tanganga with 3,150. Interesting. And then Casper Denor 3,036 minutes. This, by the way, is just in championship games. If you look at the top right, you can see there it's championship games. So this is just in the league. So although we have had a number of games, we had Dagenham game, Leeds game, Crystal Palace game, and then we had the League Cup game as well. What did we do in the League Cup? Did we do anything in the League Cup? We had the one game and out, as you know. We had 2. Yeah, we beat Portsmouth, and then we were rubbish against Leyton Orient. Yeah. So we had the 2 games in the League Cup as well. So if we go back, so then do you choose Japhet Tanganga? Played a lot, Mr. Ever Present, and his rating's not that bad for a player who's played a lot of minutes. Do you go by man of the matches? Man of the matches, according to this website, is players that have got the highest score on the pitch. So between both teams on the pitch, the player that's got the highest rating in a game, according to Whoscored.com. It's just based on them. That would be Jake Cooper with 3. Denor's got 2. Honeyman's got 2. Interesting. What would they be then? Tanganga's got 2. Lucas Jensen's got 2. So a lower rating, but he's got 2. Is it goal scorers? Obviously, I've just shown you we were struggling for goals. Do you go for the goal scorer? I would imagine that Havanovic will almost certainly get the Young Player of the Year. Or maybe not. Maybe Bangor Williams might get it, to be honest. But he's certainly eligible for it. He's only 20 years old, is Ivanovic. Scored 6 goals so far. Like I said, it is a bit early. There's 8 games left. I think so 6 goals in 1,580 minutes. There's 8 games left, so 8 times 90. Carry the 1. So there's a fair old few minutes left. It is possible we could get maybe another 4 goals that will take him up to double figures. Does he then get into the question of player of the season? Now, does he have time to do it? If we look, so the player of the season stuff, you would imagine it will be done on Swansea. The Swansea City game is when they start handing it out. When do they do all of the selections? Probably, will they do it over Easter weekend? Maybe they do it over Easter weekend. They put it up on probably the day after the Blackburn game. And then they might close it after the Norwich game. That might be cutting a bit too fine. But maybe they might do that. So he's got all of these games. He's got about 6 games to score 4 more goals. Probably a bit of an ask. But even if he does get to the 10, does he still get the player of the season vote for you? So he's certainly interesting player. He's certainly one to watch, but there is a lack of quality to some extent, which is understandable. You know, he's still learning. He's still learning his way. So that is interesting. Do you go by assists? Obviously, we don't have that many assists. Obviously, our attacking stuff, as we've shown with the goals, is not too good. So Femi Aziz, 5 assists, a very improved player over the season. Started out, was a bit shaky and certainly come on at the end of the season. One could argue after Alex Neil turned up. Now, in terms of, like I said, output, if you look here at Bangor Williams, 3 assists in the 7 appearances, 611 minutes. Or you got Amaku with 2 assists over 476 minutes. But to be honest, you can't be giving player of the season to anyone, I would say. Probably under Ryan Leonard, I should say, in terms of minutes played, and that would include Ivanovic. Ivanovic has only played 1,580 minutes. I think you've got to give player of the season to someone who has actually played most minutes in a season. So that would be one of these players: Leonard, Cooper, Saville, Joe Bryan, Denor, Tanganga or Jensen. You can't give player of the season to a player who's only played for half a season, unless they've been absolutely outstandingly brilliant. And I don't think there's anyone that fits that criteria down here, to be honest. Not really. So, what else shall we look at? If we look at... Right. We'll just skip all this stuff. And what we'll do... So this is the player list, what we've just seen, but for the whole league. So pretty poor league, I should say, this season, to be honest. If you can see that, I think the top scorer is Sands with 17. Then it's Perot with 15, Brownhill with 13, Mehmeti with 12. This is a poor league. Poor league. Not the best. But if we go back to the ratings, he's the highest rated player is Sands with 7.26. And because it's not that high, it looks like some Millwall players may get into the... Obviously, if SA was still here, he would be the number 14 in the league. And we have Jake Cooper number 22. We got Ryan Leonard at number 24. And if we move on, there should be some Millwall players here. No. So, in terms of comparing Millwall players to the rest of the league, you would have Jake Cooper and Ryan Leonard in the top 25 players in the league, according to Whoscored.com. So that's interesting. In terms of goals scored, again, I don't think our top scorer gets anywhere near this list. Is he even in the top 50? Just about. He's joint 36 in the league. Like I said, it's been a poor league. So he's given number 45, but there's about 20 players on, or 15 players on 6 goals. In terms of assists, yeah, like our guy was on 5 on his Femi Aziz was on 5. He's not even... Was he in... So yeah, he's there 24th, but that's joint 24th with about loads of other players as well. So like I said, it's not a not very good league this year. If we go man of the matches, so this would be, like I said, player that's got the highest score in a game between both players. And that would put Jay Cooper probably in the top. Yeah, he's in the top 20 as well. He's, like I said, there's joint. All of these players on 3, so he's certainly up there. Not only that, but in terms of Jay Cooper, I think he's rolling up on like 400 appearances. He's close to getting into the top 10 players, I think. I probably should have called it up, but yeah, in terms of, if you go to the Millwall history website and you check the list of top 20 appearances, he's up there, and it's just growing day by day. If we go by aerials 1, again, wow, look at this. Jake Cooper, 3rd in the league for aerials 1, 5.4 per game. So they average it out per game. So there you go. Is he a strong contender for player of the season? To be honest, obviously we've still got 8 games to go. I'm quite disappointed in terms of the goal return from all of the defenders. Obviously they're defending very well. Is that part of the reason why they haven't been scoring at the other end? That they're too tired from defending all the time? Like Jake Cooper's only got 3 goals. I think Tanganga's got 2. I would want to see at least 5 goals a season from the centre halves, to be honest. Obviously, they do still have time, but our corner kicks and our free kicks are pretty ropey, to be honest. Pretty ropey. But you can see Jake Cooper is a league leader in aerials 1. Now, this includes up front and in defence. Probably mostly in defence in terms of Jake Cooper's. If we go shots per game, do we have a striker that has a lot of shots per game? Probably not. I don't think so. We're not that prolific, to be honest. We're not here. No. We're not here. No. Yeah. So the numbers that look good for us are just defensive numbers for our players. So that would suggest that, like I said, one of these, if we go back to there, and we go back to there, so one of these players, Leonard, Cooper, Saville, Bryan, Denor, Tanganga, Jensen, so the back 5 and the 2 sitting central midfielders, they have to be one of the player of the season, because they're part of the defence that's top 6 defence in the league, and you would have to pick from one of them, in my opinion. I don't know about you, but in my opinion, so yeah, it's going to be one of them. Now, at the start of the season, you would have said it would have been Tanganga hands down, but recently he's had a few dodgy games where he's still been okay. He hasn't been awful. But so you would like, even when he has a bad game, it's okay, which that suggests how good he is. That when he isn't outstanding and he's just okay, you get disappointed that he's only had a okay game. So maybe you gotta give it to Tanganga. Okay. If we get back to the championship list, do we have any other leaders? In terms of tackles, you would imagine that... Now here we go, Romain Esse. He's an attacking player. He's number 8 in the championship for tackles per game, 2.8. Now that would be because he gave the ball away a lot and went to get it back, but he did generally get it back. But Ryan Leonard, 2.5. Casper Denor, 2.4. So 17th in the league, 20th in the league. Not bad. And do we have any... George Saville, 2.3 per game. He's 26, and Joe Bryan's 30th in the league. So I've shown you their ratings within what they've done compared to other Millwall players. I'm showing you now what they've done compared to the rest of the league. In terms of interceptions per game, Joe Bryan, number 3 in the league, 1.8 per game. Casper Denor, 4th, 1.7 per game. So it really is the defence that's doing what we're doing. George Saville is number 11th in the league with 1.4 per game. And do we have anyone on the next page? No. So that's offsides, which is drawing offside. We don't really draw offsides. We sit deep, then we drop and just trying to swarm them. Clearances per game. We must have someone at the top of that. Tanganga must be top. No. No, it's another one for Jake Cooper. Jake Cooper is 7th in the league for clearances. 7th in the league. 6 per game. Average. And then Tanganga, 5.5 per game. Average. 19th in the league. So there you go. So there you go. What else have we got? Blocks per game? Block shots per game? Is that what that means? I assume that's what that means. Does it say underneath what it means? No, I think it does mean block shots per game. So if we go down, no Millwall players in the top 10. In the top 20? Nope. Nope. No. None there. None there. Okay, that's interesting. And Tanganga here, 0.7. 0.7. So he's 45th in the league for block shots per game, 0.7. So interesting stuff there. The offensive stuff, like I said, it's not going to be good for us, really. I don't think. We could probably check the key passes. I don't think we're going to be on the list. I'll just go down a couple of pages. I won't go down till we find the Millwall player. Might be going some time. Oh, Joe Bryan. Obviously, he takes the free kicks and key passes. 1.3 per game. He's 30th in the league. Joe Bryan that we're getting now under Alex Neil is the Joe Bryan that we thought we were getting 2 seasons ago, or whenever it was he showed up. He's been absolutely brilliant. He has. Like, you can't deny that. Even if you massively hate the guy, you can't deny that. What else are we going to look at here? Dribbles per game. And here you go. 2nd in the league, even though he's not even in the league anymore. Romain Esse. That is why, look, this is why he went for the money that he went for. If you are playing in this league and you get into the top for the stats charts, for this, for that, for this, for that, then you're one of the best players in this league. And that's valuable. And the fact that he was doing it at 19 years old, look who he's surrounded by. 24 years old, 25 years old, 25 years old, 25 years old, 28 years old. The fact that he was doing it at 19, that's what it's all about, man. Now, offsides. This is players who get offside. We know we get offside quite a bit. Are any of our players here? I would imagine it might be Ivanovic or maybe Langstaff. Not yet. Yeah, Langstaff. And that just shows, he's struggled to adapt to the level, isn't he? 14 starts, 14 sub appearances, 1,293 minutes, scored 1 goal, 2 assists. But he's 33rd in the league for getting offside, 0.4 offsides per game. But you look at that and he's up there with some decent strikers in this league, to be honest, Even Perot's up there at that level. So I guess if you're getting the goals, no one cares if you keep getting offside, really. So yeah, that's looking at that. If we go back and see, to be honest, before I started filming this video, I would have probably went for Tanganga, but looking at what I've just seen, you've got to throw Jake Cooper in there. Based on what I've just seen, he's not his ratings at the best at the club. He's got the highest rating. He's got the most man of the matches. And that's even though he hasn't played the most minutes. For Jake Cooper, this is not a lot of time. He had an injury that he had to sit out for quite a bit. He missed a fair old few games. But the numbers still look good for what he's done. So, right now, I should say, but for me, I don't know about you, obviously there's 8 games to go, and it's probably going to be 5 or 6 before we get to cast our vote. But for me, I would say I have to choose between Jake Cooper and Tanganga, and an honourable mention for Joe Bryan. And for the under 21 player, it's for the young player, It's between Bangor, Williams and Ivanovic. So that's me. Don't know about you, but I mean, there we go. But we do have 8 games left to go. Now, here we go, because we're going to move on to this. We had mentioned previously earlier in the week about the accounts. Here we have the filing. So this is from Companies House website, which has a snappy little title called find-and-update.company-information.service.gov.uk. What a snappy title. Much better than Yahoo or Amazon. The Millwall Football and Athletic Company 1985 Limited. A limited edition. This is the page on the website that is informally known as Companies House. And they have published, it is available on a PDF file. Full accounts made up to 30th of June 2024. So we will take a look at them. And, you know, if you're struggling to sleep, this is probably ideal for you, because I imagine by the time I finish this, you will be out like a light. This is for the year ended 30th of June 2024. So that means this is from the 1st of July 2023 to the 30th of June 2024. Okay? It's not the season that we're in, even though they've just been published in March, but it's from finishing June 2024. I don't know why it takes them so long to publish it. I guess it doesn't really matter because they're losing so much money. Whatever. So here we go. We got the strategic report, we got the director's report, and then we got legal stuff and some notes and stuff. So it's not, even though it's a financial report, it's not really just numbers. There are some numbers here. It's quite a few words. So that means I will speak those words. The company's principal activity is that of a professional football club. Yes, sir. The campaign under review, 23-24, was the club's 7th consecutive season in the Sky Bet Championship, which is the second tier of English football. A turbulent season for the Lions ended on a high, with 5 straight league wins to finish 13th in the table on 59 points, averaging 1.28 points per game. That was 9 points lower than the previous campaign tally and 5 league positions lower, the club's lowest finish since 2018-19 season. After nearly 4 years in charge, manager Gary Rowett departed the club in mid-October by mutual consent. Assistant manager Adam Barrett took temporary charge of senior team affairs and was assisted by first-team coach Paul Robinson, not that one. Joe Edwards was installed as the new head coach on the 6th of November 2023, and in his first game led the club to its highest away win in the championship since 2001, a 4-0 win at Sheffield Wednesday. No wonder everyone creamed their pants then. I wasn't that impressed. Just 4 wins from 19, however, forced the club to make a change, with Neil Harris returning as head coach, winning 8 of the final 13 games to steer the club away from the relegation dangers. Across the campaign, a total of 27 players were used. The total was the joint second lowest across the league, and the highlights the club's tight controls around budget and squad size in comparison to some of its competitors. The average age of the players used throughout the campaign was 26 years old. That's interesting. 26, a round number, not 26.5, but 26. There was a number of academy highlights to look back on fondly from the 23-24 season. Having made his senior debut the previous year, academy graduate Romain Esse featured 25 times in the league, was involved in the first team squad 47 times across all competitions. Millwall's under-21s retained their professional development league title. The under-18s, meanwhile, were crowned Professional Development League Cup champions and reached the semi-finals of the FA Youth Cup. The club is required to comply with the EFL's profit and sustainability rules, which in overview permit clubs to incur losses up to £39 million over a 3-year period before any restrictions on spending are applied, providing that losses in excess of £5 million per year are funded through equity. In the season under review, the club were once again well within these financial limits, and the board remains totally committed to complete compliance with the rules to ensure the sustainability and health of the club for the benefit of all stakeholders. Competitive imbalances within the Championship continue to grow each season as the financial strength of the Premier League, the division above, increases year on year. Clubs relegated from the Premier League into the Championship arrive with parachute payments which serve to distort on-pitch competition, player salaries, the recruitment market, and more. Discussions around an independent regulator continues, and the club welcomes the reintroduction of the Football Governance Bill, initially introduced in March 2024 but failed to pass through Parliament before the general election was called in May. The club remains supportive both of calls for an independent regulator of the sport and a redistribution of income from the Premier League to the EFL, providing it comes with enhanced regulation to help improve the sustainability of clubs. I'm telling you now that it won't. It's going to be an absolute disaster. A review of the company's financing, property development and regeneration activities is provided later in this report. And of course, John Berylson. On the 4th of July 2023, John Berylson, the club chairman, tragically passed away following a car accident. John's sudden and tragic passing unquestionably impacted all those who were fortunate to have known him. Since first becoming involved in the club in 2006, he has presided over some of the greatest moments in Millwall's history, and his influence in providing the platform for those was immeasurable. With John's tragic passing, his son James Berylson was appointed chairman of the club. James has been able to continue with his late father's vision and ensured a continuation of the close relationship between the club and the Berylson family. Zampa Road was renamed John Berylson Way, which is fantastic. Although you would imagine that you would trade it in if what happened would not have happened. Would trade it in a heartbeat. Let's go back. Let's pretend it didn't happen. John's still with us. That would be amazing. But, it is what it is. And we have to move on. Results. The statement of comprehensive income is set out on page 14 of the company's financial statements. Revenue for the year at 21.4 million, which is improved from 19.4 million the year before, is an increase of 10%, whereas the year before it was only a 4% increase. Total matchday revenue has increased by 21% year on year for 6.2 million in 22-23 to 7.5 million in 23-24. Commercial revenue has seen a 1% decrease. Is that the sponsorship situation? While central income, which is the prize money from EFL, and mainly from EFL Basic Award and Premier League Solidarity, has had an 8% increase year on year. Average league attendance for the year was 16,544 compared to an average of 14,767 in 2023, representing a year-on-year increase of 12%, as well as the highest average attendance for the club since moving to the Den in the 1990s. Yes, the best average attendance at the new Den. Wow. It's clearly going to be down this season. Hopefully that wasn't a swan song. But, the streaming situation, the season tickets going up. It might be a while before we get that high again. Total staff costs of 25.6 million represent a 13% increase over the prior year, which was 22.6 million, reflecting the continued investment both in the playing squad as well as the football management team that took place during the year. So obviously we had to replace not one but two managers. We had to pay off to some extent Gary Rowett, and then appoint Joe Edwards and pay him off as well. And then we probably had to pay Cambridge United to get Neil Harris out of his contract. So there you go. That's probably added on to that. Other expenses have increased significantly year on year in line with the increase in business activity, with the 27% increase to 10 million, reflecting the more ordinary levels of business activity and increased fan attendance. So obviously, the more fans you have, the higher the police bill is, the more stewards you have to have. So there's that. Things like that. At the 30th of June 2024, the company had net liabilities of £146 million. Whoa, that's a lot of money. And the season before, it was 128 million. Wow. So even if we do go up to the Premier League, that's not going to be wiped out in one season. The directors do not recommend payment of a dividend. I should think not. Commercial endeavours. The club would like to thank all its various sponsors and partners at all levels for their invaluable support throughout 23-24. A growth of overall commercial and matchday revenues, not just through sponsorship but also through retail, hospitality, conferencing, events and ticketing, was of core importance to the club's overarching strategic direction. The season launched with Fanatics as its new multi-channel retail partner, providing a wide range of merchandise and products for supporters worldwide to enjoy moving forward. By early August, the club had launched its free kits for the upcoming campaign alongside its new technical partner Aria. Losses of revenue receipts were incurred as a result of Husky, the club's front of shirt sponsor, going into administration, which resulted in the termination of the partnership in May 2024. The season saw the club record its highest average attendance in 70 years, averaging 16,544. The jump in numbers is aided by record-breaking season ticket sales ahead of the 23-24 season, almost 9,000, as well as an increase in fans attending on a weekly basis as opposed to picking and choosing fixtures. Exactly. Continued. Mill's international audience continues to grow healthily. A staggering 11,000 unique overseas visitors, supporters visited for at least one match last season, a 63% increase on 22-23's total. The club proudly welcomed 1,764 fans from abroad for Mill's home fixture win against Norwich City on the 29th of December 2023, a record by some margin for a single game at the Den. Wow. So, obviously, that was played during the Christmas holidays. We now have, I don't know if the club asked for this, but we've got Norwich at home on Easter Monday. I wonder if they asked for that to be during a thing because they think they're going to get the fans from abroad. Obviously, they got this membership for away fans, for international fans, called Worldwide War. So this is how they're able to track those away fans. You know, they have a membership that's special to them that they can use to buy a ticket, and you assume they're doing it through that. Supporters flocked from all around the globe to get a flavour of Millwall Football Club, with fans travelling across 70 different nationalities and territories, including some more remote places such as islands of Aruba and Reunion. German lines made up almost 15% of our international audience, with 1,351 supporters visiting last season. Over 1,000 Americans came to cheer the team, closely followed by Zion Fleming's countrymen from the Netherlands. Italy and Sweden made up the rest of the club's top 5 overseas supporting fan bases, as well as all Nordic countries, Denmark, Finland, Norway and Sweden taking up a large portion of the overseas following. Records were also set domestically. Just over 7,000 UK-based supporters visited the Den for the first time in 23-24. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. Like, for the first time ever. So, tourists, basically, UK tourists, they went to a Millwall game for the first time. And I assume that doesn't mean away fans, because away tickets are sold for the away club. Wow. Given the club's location close to the heart of the city of London, the competitive landscape around conference and events continues to be a challenging one. While business continues to improve, there remains significant potential and room for growth in this area for the club. Well, not as long as fucking the roads closed down. Ilderton Road's closed from coming off of the Old Kent Road, because they're building so many flats there that they have to literally rip up the whole street and put in a bigger shit tube to take all the sewage away. It's insane what they're doing down there. Insane. And you would imagine while they're at it, maybe they will make the road a bit wider, because they're building on that bit of grass that was on Ilderton Road where it bends around. Of course they're not going to do that. In fact, they'll probably make the road smaller by adding a fucking cycle lane in there. But what can you do? I guess we have to wait for this new train station to open, which is going to be right around the corner, which would help us out. Even though we do have South Bermondsey right there, it's a bit annoying to go down that way to the club. Now, finance. The company via Millwall Holdings Limited. So obviously this is the accounts for Millwall and Athletic Football Club, which is owned by Millwall Holdings Limited, which continues to be funded by its principal shareholder, Chestnut Hill Ventures. So Millwall Holdings Limited is owned by Chestnut Hill Ventures. The existing facility is £20 million, with £10 million outstanding at the year end. Additional funding requirements during the year have been met by CHV, and certain directors subscribed for new ordinary shares of 10,000 each at par. During the year, 1,938 ordinary shares were issued for cash in Millwall Holdings Limited, raising £19.38 million of funds for the group. The CHF facility and the £525,000 unsecured loan notes held by directors and their associates were repayable by the 1st of July 2024. CHV and the loan notes holders had agreed that no interest would accrue in respect of the CHV facility and loan notes until 30th of June 2024. By an agreement dated 30th of June 2024, CHV extended the suspension of interest until the 1st of July 2025, when interest will begin to accrue again unless CHV agrees otherwise. The other loan notes holders have agreed that no interest will accrue on the loan notes until the date on which the company and CHV agree that interest will begin to accrue again in respect of CHV facility. The repayment date of the CHV facility and other loan notes was also extended to the 1st of July 2026. The director of the view that, together with the further arrangements referred to in Note 1 in financial statements, ongoing equity investment and extended loan facilities from CHV and the directors provides the company with sufficient access to working capital to fund the operations of the company over the next few years. So again, this is why we have to buy, or why I had to sell. We didn't have to sell Fleming. Fleming forced the sale, basically. But the money we're getting from Fleming, the money we're getting from Essay, it's going to pay this back. So CHV have funded the club. They've given us a loan facility. We get money in, we pay them that back, and then they probably just go again and give us another loan facility. That's what has to happen. They've extended it. It was due in a couple of months, 1st of July. They've extended it until the 1st of July 2026. Now, I think this is a thing that they have to do at the start of the season. They have to tell the Football League that they have the funds to run the club. So they take money and they put it in like a facility. They get like a note from the bank saying, yeah, this is the money, this is your money to run the club. And then they give that to the EFL to say, yeah, like we are viable. We're not going to go bust before the end of the season, basically. So that's all the EFL care about. You can go bust after the last game of the season. They don't give a shit. Regeneration. As reported in the previous year, the club's improved relations with Lewisham Council and Renewal, the property developer for the adjacent site, continued during the year with further progressive talks held with the Mayor, Damien Egan, and his replacement Brenda Dakers, as well as a senior planning officer from Lewisham. In May 2024, the club and Lewisham Council agreed the key terms of a 999-year lease for the land surrounding the Den, which will give the club development rights as part of plans designed to benefit the club, its supporters, the council itself, as well as the local community generally. At the time of writing, the full lease agreement is being finalised and is expected to be signed in early 2025. The club expresses gratitude to the council and its senior officials or officers for their approach to these discussions. So again, hasn't been signed yet. They're still working on the details. I haven't heard them being that this has been signed, and this is dated the 15th of March. So, early 2025. We're in early 2025. Training ground. As reported in the previous year, in October 2022, Sevenoaks Council's Planning Committee formally approved the club's plans for a new training ground on a 100-acre site in West Kingsdown, Kent. The new location is designed to bring together the first team and academy and their respective support and administration staff rather than have them operate on separate sites as it currently is the case. This brings about varying logistical challenges with which a new location would serve to reduce. During 23-24, the club has continued to look at cost analysis and tendering processes as part of the project development costs. With the significant increases in cost of building materials and labour, this has impacted on the initial project plans as it impacted on the short-term completion goals initially set. Progress is continuing on planning, however, and at present no lead contractor has been appointed. To give the club certainty over its training facilities, discussions have commenced regarding the leasehold site currently occupied as the first team training ground, and the club are currently exploring the opportunity to purchase the freehold to this site, which will allow for further short-term development and infrastructure improvements, as well as consideration around the longer-term London base as part of its academy footprint. So yeah. So what they're going to do is, it seems they're going to have 2 academies. I think the idea was to have the first team in the academy at West Kingsdown, but then there's kind of rules around the local area around your academy affects how you can have, what areas you can get players from. So it means we're going to be missing out on players from London, which makes no sense at all. With so many good players coming from South London at the moment. So there is a thought that what they will do, or what they might do, is move the first team and the under-21s, who I think they train daily, the under-21s, move them to West Kingsdown, and then the other age groups, under 18 and under, who probably train 2 times a week, they will stay at Calmont Road. And then that would allow Millwall to get players from the London area and from Sevenoaks area. Although, has any decent footballer come out of Sevenoaks? I don't know. I guess maybe that's the future with all the people moving out. And then they've got Community Trust, which I'm just gonna cut for time. Club restructure. Obviously, in May 2024, following an internal review by the board, a number of changes were announced both to the structure of the club but also to some of the key personnel, with Alex Aldridge, Billy Taylor and Steve Kavanagh leaving the club. In line with modern football practices, the key operations have been split between the football operations and non-football. This restructure is linked to a clear vision around the long-term strategy, with a focus on development of footballing talent, the assets, and a self-sustaining reinvestment model, as well as business growth, diversification and improved efficiency. The club thanks Steve, Billy and Alex for all their hard work and commitment to the club over their tenure and wishes them well for the future. Now, on the 15th of June 2024, the club was left devastated by the sudden passing of its goalkeeper Matija Sarkic at the age of 26 years old. Matija signed for the club in August 2023, making his debut in the Lions League opener away at Middlesbrough in a 1-0 win. He would go on to make 33 appearances in total in the 23-24 campaign and proudly represented his nation, Montenegro, on the international stage. The Montenegrin's crucial save at St Mary's against Southampton in Neil Harris's first game back in charge of the club helped the club to a vital 3 points, while Sarkic's penalty save at Swansea on the final day of the season will long live in the memory. The goalkeeper's last fixture was for Montenegro on the 5th of June against Belgium in an international friendly. Always a happy character, Matija's smile and personality will be sorely missed by all at Millwall Football Club. Principal risks and uncertainties. In common with many football clubs outside the FA Premier League, the main business risk is the maintenance of a positive cash flow, bearing in mind the uncertainty of turnover and the high cost of maintaining a playing squad on which the success of the group's business is largely dependent. In order to achieve a positive cash flow, there is a constant requirement to raise new finance and refinance existing facilities, which in turn requires the continuing support of existing providers of those facilities. Chestnut Hill Ventures. A significant amount of club's revenue derives from ticket sales. Income generated from gate receipts is highly dependent on the level of attendance at matches. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the reliance of all football clubs on matchday revenue, and also cost control measures can and have been implemented. These cannot mitigate the lost income seen at present. Some income streams of the club, such as television rights and related income, are dependent on third-party contracts and arrangements to which the club is not a party and over which the club can exercise no or little influence. As part of its normal activities, the club deals in the trading of player registrations, and there is always a risk of significant and lasting injuries to players that may impair player values. Players aged 24 years or older are free to move between clubs once their contract has come to an end, and directors monitor expiry dates carefully with a review to renewing contracts or realising value. Relevant business risks are discussed during board meetings so that where a material exposure is identified, mitigating action can be taken. So, post-balance sheet events. So this is up to the 30th of June 2024. But obviously, since then, a lot of things have happened, and they're talking about them here. Subsequent to the year end, the company acquired the permanent registrations of Tanganga, Jensen, Langstaff, Kelly, Aziz, and Ivanovic, as well as the temporary registrations of Callum Scanlon, Ryan Wintle, and Josh Coburn during the summer transfer window. During the January transfer, the company saw the departure of homegrown talent Romain Esse, who joined Premier League side Crystal Palace, as well as Tom Bradshaw to Oxford United and Connell Truman to MK Dons. The company wishes them well and thanks them for their service. The company strengthened the squad with a further 8 additions, including Camille Negley from Sparta Rotterdam, Tristan Cramer from Brentford, AJ Matthews from Middlesbrough, Luke Cundle from Wolverhampton Wanderers, Zach Lovelace from Glasgow Rangers, Benicia Baker-Boete from Brighton and Hove Albion, and Aaron Connolly from Sunderland. The club also acquired the temporary registration of Zach Sturge from Chelsea. On the 10th of December, the company announced that the head coach Neil Harris had resigned from his role, and subsequently on the 30th of December, the company announced the appointment of his replacement, Alex Neil. Obviously, notice there's no thank you very much. Interesting. The company has also completed the freehold purchase of Calmont Road, the first team and under-21s training ground in Bromley, as mentioned. So earlier on they said they wanted to do that. Now we have the confirmation that they did do that. Going concern. In assessing the appropriateness of the going concern assumption, the directors have produced detailed cash flow forecasts until the 30th of June 2026. The directors have continued to undertake a range of measures to ensure prudent running of the organisation. The company's immediate parent, Millwall Holdings Limited, has a £20 million facility in place from CHV that was drawn to £10 million at the year end, which does not fall due for repayment until the 1st of July 2026. The directors believe this, in conjunction with the ongoing support of the club's principal shareholder, provides sufficient working capital for the current needs of the company for the foreseeable future. So, as mentioned, CHV have given us a £20 million facility, or we, the club. Now, year end, so that's till 30th of June 2024. So they spent 10 million last year, so that's to make up the gap. So obviously you've got income coming in, but then you've got expenditures. So what's left over, you have to pay out. So you have to pay that. You have to pay the money that's missing, and that's what this is, 10 million. So you'd imagine that 10 million for this year, so they were going to have to pay that out. And then what happens then? The money's gone. There's no more 20 million facility. Because 10 million of it's already been spent. You're going to spend the other 10 million on this season that we're in now. So that's why it was vital that at the end of the season we had money, whether that was at the end of the season or from the January transfer window, from the sale of Romain Esse. Because we already knew that we were going to get money from Fleming, but the Romain Esse sale, that was needed to cover the 20 million facility. And then we've got some just stuff. So the loss for the year after taxation amounted to £18.5 million, which is up because the year before it was a £11.2 million loss. So wow. And then you've got just stuff, normal stuff that you have to do. stuff like that, stuff like this. Now, material uncertainty related to going concern. We draw attention to note 2 on the financial statements, which describes how the ability of the company to continue as a going concern is dependent on additional funding from the shareholder that is not guaranteed. As stated in Note 2, these events or conditions indicate that a material uncertainty exists that may cast significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern. Our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. In auditing the financial statements, we have concluded that the director's use of the going concern basis of accounting in the preparation of the financial statements is appropriate. Our response, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, basically, you've got all your eggs in one basket, and that's Chester Hill Ventures. If that basket's not there, we're in big doo-doo. You know what I'm saying? And then other information, yada, yada, yada. The auditor, there's an auditor that's been in and audited it, which probably why it takes so long. And that auditor was BDO LLB, Ian Claydon. And here we get the numbers. You can see here. This is in £100,000. So that's turnover of 21.4 million, which is up from 19.3 million the year before. Staff costs are up. Interest payable and similar expenses, that's up to £299,000. The loss that we made on the 21.4 million turnover is 18.5 million. Wow. And that's up from 11.2 off of 19.3. Now again, I don't think this includes the fact that that they bought Calmont Road, because that was after this event. So next season's accounts might be even worse. So here you go. So debtors, so people who owe us money, 3.6 million. So I imagine this is like what, player sales and stuff like that. And that's down from 4.1 the season before. And again, creditors are the amount of money that Millwall owe. They owe it mostly to CHV and the other directors. 168.5 million. Wow. That is insane. Again, like I said, even one season in the Premier League is not going to cover that, you would imagine. Although what will probably happen, and it could be a really bad thing that could see us do what Luton have done, go up, have one season come down and get decimated and go back down, is we go up, we get some players, younger players come through, we do well, we go up. The players that we go up with, they do okay, and other Premier Leagues look at them and go, oh, that's not bad. So when we do get relegated, we transfer those players to the Premier League, and then, we make money from the sale, but we lose the players. And then we have to replace them with cheaper players or players from the youth team, which means we go down. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But hey, one season up, I'll take that. We can always come back from League One. It's not the end of the world. And they've got this here. This is just kind of rounding up what we've already seen about the 20 million loan stuff and etc. 10 million already gone. Has to be repaid, and they've delayed it till next season. Turnover. This is notes. This is the notes for the thing. So it's explaining the thing up above, etc., etc. Players registrations, etc. Signing on fees. and how they account for it, transfer fees, etc. Transfer fees receivable are recognised in the period in which the registration is transferred, and any profit or loss arising is dealt with in the statement of comprehensive income. Contingent transfer fees receivable are recognised once the contingent conditions become probable, which is usually when they are met. As in, we sell a player and the transfer fee is one thing, but if they get a certain amount of number of games, we get more money. If the club gets promoted, we get more money, that kind of thing. So obviously they can't account for that because it might not happen, which is probably why they're still listing Zion Fleming in the loan watch thing, even though we were told if he hits a certain amount of games, it's guaranteed, and apparently he's hit those games. So he's no longer a loan player. He has gone. The deal will be completed at the end of the season. His turnover, as you can see, the commercial did go down a little bit, a tiny little bit, 1%. One thing with that, I don't know if that's included. I keep getting bombarded with emails. You must do as well, about sales in the club shop. And it's all well and good, but when you click on it, it's like, man, you're trying to sell me this shirt and you don't have 4XL. It's like, how am I supposed to buy a shirt if you don't have my size? No, I'm joking. I'm not 4XL. I'm 2XL. But you know what I mean. You click on the thing. It's like, oh, that looks good, and it's like, oh, all they've got is S&M. It's like, really? Like, why are you like boosting that out there if you don't even have full stock or even half stock? Or at least put in the ad like, oh, this is limited. It's limited to S&M. This is limited. It's only available in large. This is limited. It's only available in 3XL. Stop wasting my people's times. So you go. Staff costs, that's social security costs. So national insurance and tax. 2.5 million. 2.5 million. That's gone up. That's going to go up again right now after the 1st of April with this current government. Man, that's going to be wow. Number of employees, 46 for the football team management, 54 administration and ground staff, and 61 players, including the academy. Wow. Directors' remuneration, and this is interesting, 364,000. Company contributions to defined contribution pension schemes, £38,000. Compensation for loss of office. So this is how much they paid. Now, it says directors, so that would suggest that this is just Kavanagh, because he was the director, and you can see here where it says underneath, the payments to money purchase pension schemes were made in respect of one director. So they're only paying one director, is the one who's there day to day doing the work. The other directors, they turn up for the board meetings and stuff like that. The remuneration of the highest paid director was £556,000, £100,000. The year before it was 446. So the new guy is, I assume this is the new guy. Is this the new guy? Well, this is for the 30th of June. So they let Cav go in May. So this might be Cav's money. So the Kavanagh was paid £556,000, and that was he got more money. He got £90,000 pay rise from the year before, or maybe that includes his. I don't know, but yeah, that's how much he was getting paid. And they compensated him for loss of office, £154,000. They paid him off to leave. They gave him money to go. Yikes. Yeah, £154,000. Wow. Obviously they're not paying tax because they lost money. And that might be another thing to, obviously, if they do go up and they make a profit, is to do a bit of creative accounting and make it look like they lost money. Just a little bit, like £1 loss. So then they don't have to pay any tax, because if they actually make a profit, They have to pay fucking like 95% or 25% tax on that. So screw that. Yeah. This is how much player registrations, the cost, additions, disposals. £9.7 million worth of players, 4.2 million additions, 2.2 disposal. Oh, that's minus though. Minus 2.2 million. Yikes. Amortization. So again, I think that means, is like they said before, you have a 24-year-old, or you have a player who's 23, he's worth this amount of money, because even if he leaves, you get compensation. As soon as he reaches 24, that compensation disappears, it vanishes. So there you go. Net book value. So apparently the players at the moment are valued at 3.7 million. Is that what I'm reading right there? Okay. Cool. Tangible fixed assets, long leasehold premises, assets in the course of construction. Fittings, fixtures and equipments, leasehold improvements, motor vehicles. Is that the blue bus? What's that about? Is that Cav's car? Stocks. Debtors, trade debtors, transfer fees receivable, other debtors, prepayments and accrued income. Creditors, trade creditors, taxation and social security. So they owed the taxman 1.3 million. So their amounts falling due within 1 year. So they still haven't paid the tax bill. They have got a tax bill of 1.3 million to pay. Wow. Amounts owed to immediate parent company, 157.8 million. Wow. Included within accruals and deferred income is an amount of 2.7 million, which is down on the year before in relation to amounts received in advance in respect of season tickets, league awards, executive boxes, memberships, advertising and sponsorship relating to the following year. Under the terms, the 5% cumulative redeemable preference shares of £1 each could have been redeemed by 4th of March 1998, but the holders had not taken up their rights of redemption. The preference shares carrying no voting rights and on the winding up are entitled to a repayment of the amount paid up plus any dividends due. The amount due to the immediate parent company is interest-free, unsecured, and has no fixed terms of repayment. Net drawdowns totaling 19.3 million were made during the year. Wow. Creditors, non-current player payables, non-current pension liability, accruals, deferred income, grants received in respect of long leasehold premises and other fixtures and fittings, amortised proceeds from the sale of the training ground in excess of market value, which has been amortised on a straight line basis over 20 years to 2025. A further £61,000 is included with current liabilities deferred income. Loans, financial assets measured at amortised cost, etc., etc., etc. So there you go. Financial commitments, land and buildings. Minimum lease payments due within 1 year, in 2 to 5 years, after 5 years. That's interesting. So obviously, we did a deal with Lewisham. The deal's not free. They're not giving it the ground for free. We have to pay presumably some kind of land rent, and that would probably be included in this. Within 1 year, £389,000. Within 2 years, 476, and after 5 years, 5.5 million. Wow. And then pensions, etc. And then again, they talk about post-balance sheet events. Done. That's it, the end. Now, one thing I want to mention, they don't seem to have mentioned it here. Maybe it's in the thing. I have mentioned it previously. But it's with regards to the current training ground, Calmont Road. And then they have bought the training ground. So maybe, you would imagine maybe they're trying to figure something out. This is a planning application from Lewisham. It's one that was made 4 years ago. In 2021. So, it's for the siting of a single-storey modular building for a temporary period of 4 years to accommodate a gymnasium and medical treatment room and Millwall Football Club training ground, Calmont Road. Okay. It was received on the 12th of April 2021, validated on a week later, on the 19th of April 2021, and a decision was granted. It was given on the 27th of May 2021. That for a period of 4 years, Millwall could put the, porta cabins, whatever, on the training ground to act as their buildings for a gym and other stuff. And it said in the thing here that I haven't pulled up, it's part of the documents, that after 4 years, in the letter it says after 4 years you're going to return the area to the state that it was in before. Return it to its original form. That's coming up, and there hasn't been another application to extend this or to build anything more permanent. So I don't know if anyone at the club is aware of this, but you've got until the 27th of May 2021, or you could find yourself getting in trouble with Lewisham Planning in terms of they're going to order you to comply with this thing, is that it was a temporary period of 4 years. You need to follow what you've agreed to. So like I said, they have to, you would imagine they'll have to get this in by beginning of May, maybe. I don't know. This one took about a month to decide. Will they just ask for an extension? Are they going to try and get something a bit more permanent there? We don't know. But there you go. We wait to see. Now you imagine they own it now. Can they afford to build anything there? I don't know. I think building stuff and improving your facilities does count at the moment against your debt stuff for the EFL. There was some suggestion that they would probably try, under the new rules, that they might take that off, that you could improve your facilities and that wouldn't count against your financial fair play stuff, because that's not, like, if you improve your ground, if you improve your training ground, it's not really, like, it's not like you're pumping team money into the team for the players and you're speculating to get promoted, which other clubs aren't doing. Like, you're just making your facilities better and you're making your training ground better. So the idea was that they would take that off, and that doesn't count towards your financial fair play stuff. Maybe they're waiting for that. I don't know, but they might want to get a move on whatever they're doing, because don't want to be upsetting the planning office at Lewisham. And on that note, if you fell asleep, glad I could help. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.